Welcome to the podcast, Briana. We're so excited to have you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've known each other for a while.
Yes.
We've had similar journeys of being diagnosed with aplastic anemia, and that's really where we met. And
Yes.
it's been a while, so
It's
it's been
been a
really cool to
while.
see your journey too. Yeah.
Yeah, you do get to see it. That's awesome. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm a
Yeah.
completely different person, I think, than I've ever been before, especially since my transplant, my transplant was 10 years ago. So my journey began
Wow.
even before that. So that's 11 years. So that sounds crazy because I don't feel that
Right?
11 years has passed, but definitely I'm a different person. So this is cool
Wow.
to connect again this way.
I think so too. I think it's really cool to talk to somebody 10 years out or 11
Yeah.
years out of their
Yeah.
journey.
It's
Let's just give like a little bit of a backstory of what you were diagnosed with and you getting a bone marrow transplant.
Yeah, so I had severe aplastic anemia and I was diagnosed with that March of 2014, where my medical team began looking at options for me and treating that. The first was immunosuppressant treatments. That didn't work for me, so I was fortunate enough to have matches on the bone marrow registry. And we selected the best from that, began treatment there with my bone marrow transplant. So what comes with that is chemotherapy and radiation. So we did my regimen, and then afterwards, you wait for it to graft, and it did not. So my team went back to the drawing board, looked at our other matches that we found on the registry, and selected a new match and began the treatment again. But this time they had increased my dosage, hoping that it would make it a more successful grafting. So it did, and I am here today. But the recovery after is something that I actually don't think I hear much about, because the big story, the big journey is the medical part, right? Going back to living life in a healing way, because you're healing. You're not just like healed, or you're not how you were before the sickness. You are experiencing life a little bit differently. That
Mm.
is a new journey that began for me. So that's pretty much the background of that. There's so
Yeah,
much
that's a
in between.
beautiful,
Yeah.
yeah, there is. And that's a beautiful way of explaining it. Like now you're in the healing phase. After you get treatment or cure, you're in the healing phase also. I've never really thought of it that way, but it's very true.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know in between there is, I feel
Oh
like
my
any
God.
of us, our stories are so long. It's hard to
They are
kind of
so long,
sum.
like hours long.
Yeah.
Hours. Yeah.
It's very
It's,
hard. It's
yeah.
nonstop. Yeah.
It's nonstop. Yeah. I've had those
Yeah.
discussions and I've been like, whoa, I've been talking for 2 hours. And I mean, there's just so much.
Yeah. You learn a
Yeah.
lot too in between and so
Oh,
many
yeah.
tips and things you want to help other people and give them
Oh, yeah.
along on their journey too.
Sure.
I feel like you can take days just talking about your journey
Oh, yeah.
alone, honestly. Yeah.
Absolutely. We could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, when would you say that you were healed or cured from aplastic anemia? And then start us on that journey after that.
Okay. I would say that after the 100 days cleared after transplant, that's like the magic number for you're good to go back to society if those 100 days are perfect. There's no disruptions or any concerns. So I would say after the 100 day, then I felt like that was healed from aplastic anemia. And then after that began the journey of healing other parts and meshing back to what my world was, especially being such a young individual at such an exciting time in my life, and after healing and being reintroduced to things. So I guess it started in college. So I had to defer my college acceptance for 2 years because of my medical situation. And after I entered college at 20 years old instead of 18, which that was different for me. I
That is
was,
different.
it was
Yeah. 10
so
years is
different.
different. Yeah.
It is. So that has its funny stories. I was able to buy alcohol before everybody else. We'd go to the 6th Street and I was able to drink. So that was interesting. But more than that, I came in 2 years older, but also I think that's just like having seen life so differently. Like my mindset, my perspective was, oh man, I guess it was mature and not by
Yeah.
choice, but just because I saw death. I looked at it.
Mhm.
I was familiar with it. It was right there. So coming into that being so young, um, having experienced that, but also being so excited because this is what I've been wanting to do for the past 2 years as an 18-year-old. And then this is a new journey. Like, I'm on my own now. I'm away from my parents. I'm away from the need to be helped by others. And I get to kind of just pave my own path. So that was cool and different because I was still healing. I had lost about 30 pounds in my medical journey.
Wow.
So I went from like 125 pounds to just under 100. So I was thin, thin, thin.
Yeah.
And I was recovering still from that, trying to gain my weight back. So tiny, so frail. My muscles hadn't been used in like, I don't know, a year and a half, 2 years probably. So trying to be active, like wanting to join sports, like intramural sports in college, dance things, it still wasn't the best option for me. I really had to start from the ground up, but I didn't know that until I went and tried these things that I could do when I was in high school and as 18-year-old. I was in soccer, I was doing all sorts of things, dance, and then coming in and realizing my body's actually very different. I remember one time
Mhm.
I was trying to kick a soccer ball around, not even trying to play soccer. And I sprained my ankle. I sprained my muscles because I could not I don't know. I just couldn't do it. So that really like shook up my journey. And I decided, well, I need to rebuild my strength. So I started to get into the gym and start that journey there. I ate so freely. I just consumed everything because I knew I needed to put the weight on. So that began that journey. I also went in with short hair because I lost all my hair during my treatment. So my hair was so short. It was just like this being 18 in college. They're like, who is this 20-year-old? I was still getting eye
Freshman,
treatments.
yeah.
Yeah, they're like, I was still getting eye treatments and from a virus that had seeded itself in my eye. And I was taking care of that in Houston. But when I came to college, I was like, I'm not letting this stop me from going to college. I'm going to
Mhm.
find an ophthalmologist there. I did, but it would require a needle in the eye. So I had a bloody eye just about every week. And so I'm just this little stick, this little excited ball of energy, short little hair, and just a bloody eye, and trying to
Oh
make
my
friends, trying to
gosh.
find myself. Yeah, so that was that journey. Started my healing there. What had also happened that will come up now later, because this is something I'm currently realizing the impact of. So I did not know when I had first get started to see what was going on with my eye that I needed to disclose my medical history. I disclosed my medical history with my ophthalmologist, and I guess I didn't put down aplastic anemia. I think because I thought she knew, because I was referred to her through the
Mm.
hospital, that I just assumed that she understood that. So I didn't put. I guess I didn't put important information. Anyways, they went in to my eye treating the virus, thinking it was just inflammation in the eye with a steroid shot. So that was my first initial treatment for it. Well, when I disclosed that I had aplastic anemia, the doctor was very upset with me. She's like, "You have to disclose this," because she mistreated me. That was not what my eye needed.
No.
So I got a steroid shot in the eye for no reason, and it has caused a cataract. So it was cataract. Um, I guess it induced a cataract. I don't know. So I've been dealing with a cataract in my eye since that point. I did not realize what that could do to my eyeball. So because
Yeah.
that eye is not being used, she starts to drift because she can't see. So she's just there. Yeah. So I started to realize that after after actually a long time of me not wearing a contact in that eye, because I thought, oh, she can't see anyways. I don't need to buy contacts for my left eye. I think that harmed her even more because even if there's a little bit of vision, she can't even try. So she has started to drift, and now I understand why. But I have not been able to get that cataract surgery. There's just been things in the way that have not allowed that. I got literally this close to doing it when I was in Austin, and then I lost insurance, and then I couldn't go through with the procedure. Then I moved back home. Well, it took me a while to find a job and to find insurance, so those things delayed it. Now that I am in a good position, there's just so many other things that I've been taking care of that I haven't properly prepared myself for taking that on or what that means for me. I have struggled with wanting to go forward with that because I don't know, I'm like, it feels so foreign to me. I've done so much work in doing as much as I can naturally that I feel that I've disassociated a bit from the help of Western medicine and have just wanted to kind of take myself away and like, I don't know, just care for myself in such a natural way. That feels good to me, but I think I've also lost balance in it, realizing that now they're there for a reason. They have their expertise. Going back to my journey and realizing I could not have done that naturally either. So finding that
Hmm.
balance within myself has been a struggle. So part of me is scared to go get it just because I know that means there will be an artificial lens in my eye. And I'm like, "Ugh, I'm gonna have to put something artificial in my eye permanently." That's
Yeah.
just me and my struggle. But I was dealing with that also in college. So I got to a point where building up my strength. I was getting stronger. My hair grew back. No more eye treatments because the virus was gone. Everything seemed pretty normal except for my menstrual cycle. That I have not heard many people at all talk about this, and maybe I need to go search the web for it. So
Yeah.
I had osteoporosis because of the chemotherapy and radiation. My bones were brittle. So that was also a part of me getting back into the gym and strength training. Strength training has been a huge part of my life since I was healed from aplastic anemia. Strength training has always been there because of other things like my bones. And because I wasn't having my period, my estrogen wasn't being produced in my body. So your bones need estrogen to also be strong. So those things were not there. And man, every time I talk to somebody about, yeah, I don't really have my periods, they're like, oh my God, you're so lucky. And I'm like, no, you just don't understand.
Yeah.
You just don't get
Yeah.
it. Like,
You don't get the journey.
you don't. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not. I want my period so bad. Since then,
The
things have
normal
changed a little.
things.
I want the
Yeah.
normal things. I want my body
Hmm.
to act normal. I want it
Yeah.
to understand and flow the way it's naturally supposed to. So that was a part of it. And, you know, I guess it was convenient, right? Like, I don't need to think about my period or when it's going to come or prepare for that or even get the supplies necessary for that. So that happened for my college years. And then coming out of that, it carried on. But once I got out of college, I knew I wanted to look into other ways of continuing that healing for my body because I think life is just a journey of like healing,
Hmm.
like spiritually, soully, physically, like everything.
Yeah.
So I went and I started to see a upper cervical chiropractor, and that was pivotal for me as well because this practitioner, he was also very spiritual, very metaphysically connected, but also a doctor. So he like
Oh,
understood
wow.
like the body in that way. So it was such a nice blend for me. So I went there and realized there were other areas of my life that I didn't know weren't quite functioning right. And so he explained to me a lot about my body and why that is. And he was very excited because I had aplastic anemia. So he was excited to get into there and see what we could do for the body after that. So other things that I was dealing with was I think my hair growth, honestly, I think at some point it stalled. and I don't know why. And then sleeping throughout college,
Mm.
I just felt like I never got a good night rest. Like I was always taking supplements like melatonin. I even experimenting with Benadryl, but for the most part, I would sounds crazy, but drug myself to bed because I
Yeah.
knew I needed to wake up early in the morning, but I was not able to go to sleep. I even tried things in my routine like not going to the gym late, winding down earlier. It just wouldn't work. So when I saw this chiropractor, he began his treatment, and then the follow-up visit was like, "Hey, how you doing?" And he's like, "How's your sleep been?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" Because I had not thought about that.
Yeah,
I was
what
like,
do you know?
"Yeah, what do you know?" And he's like, "Has it been good?" I'm like, "It's been the best sleep of my whole freaking life. Hit the pillow and fell asleep. That was not my
That's
experience."
perfect.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
perfect. And he's like, "Yeah, it's the treatment." I was like, "Okay." And then weeks later, he'd be like, "Hey, you got some baby hair growth going on." And like, I was like thinking that day, literally prepping for our visit, like, "Man, my hair is unruly. Like, it's so frizzy today." And he was like, "It's your baby hair growing back." So I had a bunch of just baby hair going crazy up front. And then eventually I did get my period back. And I don't know if it's connected to that, but I think overall there was this holistic healing I was going through, mind, body,
Mhm.
and soul. And spiritually, I was going through a huge reckoning in my life and healing up those things when it comes to support in the family, actually. Going through that journey, that is a whole thing that I think we could go into another podcast on, but
Yeah.
definitely that came up after. And I think because there was enough healed spaces that things could just come to the surface now. Everybody wasn't so focused on Bree healing and holding everything
Yeah.
together so that she could heal. Once I was good, all the cracks were there. And
Wow.
yeah, we were able to get into all that. So
I had my parents are together and were together during that time, but then I had my two sisters, but the focus was on me. It was on
yeah.
me the entire
Oh
time.
my
So it was like,
God.
whatever we all have going on, it's going to have to stop and pause for years,
Oh my
for as long as we have
gosh.
to. It's so true.
Yeah. Yeah, we can go
And
into that
then,
because I've done healing with
yeah,
that with my sisters.
wow, that's so beautiful
Yeah.
because after, everybody I felt like in my family could breathe, it was like, okay, we got to take the focus off of Brandy. The focus has been on her for so long. What does everybody else have going on? What's actually going on in everybody
Absolutely.
else's life? Like you said, you're kind of healing and healing and
And
healing. Like
healing.
it's like you never stop
You
that.
never stop.
Oh
Never.
my gosh,
Yeah.
that's such like a light bulb moment.
Me and my family have gone through, oh, like a healing that I don't think everybody would be up for. Um,
Yeah.
and I do think I am the pioneer there. I think I am the alchemist there because man, my medical journey changed my freaking life. Like,
Hmm. Same.
I
Yeah.
yeah, I took so much authority of myself, my journey, my healing, my life, because I had been given my life when it was on the verge of being lost. And it just made me like know my worth, know what's worth it,
Hmm.
and lay down boundaries. Like, I was not going to take anything. And I don't think my family was ready for all that, but I certainly was. And
Yeah.
I brought it all to the surface and in an ugly way. And I don't think healing is always beautiful. I mean,
Mm-mm.
it is like when you go deep down, but it has to be ugly first
Yeah.
sometimes. So it was so raw when I brought up all of this to my family. And I brought it up with one of my sisters and all sorts of things. Even my underlying tensions with my youngest sister came up too. And I think it was all connected to our family dynamic as a whole. And so me and my middle sister approached the family and were just like, "Blah, here's the unfiltered truth." And really, we were unburdening it. We were giving it back to them, not giving them back the truth, not in a way that was like, we're doing this with clarity and intention and we want this to help us. It was truly just an unburdening of, here's the ugly truth. It's
The
yours.
pain.
Take it back. Yeah, the
Yeah.
pain. We don't want
Yeah.
it. And that began another healing for me. And since then, I have had other things come up with my mom personally in our relationship, my dad personally in our relationship, them together, me and my sisters individually, my sisters together, like what that journey like was for them for
Mhm.
2 years feeling like they didn't have their mom because she was in the
Mm.
hospital with me and being alone with my dad and my dad's journey like during that he lost his
Ah,
wife to his daughter being in the hospital. I had a rocky relationship with my dad, so even during that situation it wasn't the best. So he was going through it raising two girls on his own. And
mm,
I don't know, every time I hear a man talking about only having girls, all they say is like, God bless you. Like,
yeah.
God bless you. So that was his journey, trying to raise those kids who are missing their mom, almost resenting their sister, feeling rebellious, going through this pivotal time on their own. They were in high school. And then my dad being alone, doing the best that he could to wrangle that.
Mhm.
So, and us not being available, me as a sister not being available to them either, because everybody's so
Yeah.
focused on me. So things since then have changed and shifted, and they're still healing within the family. But man, we are connected in a way that we have never been connected. There's
That's
so
beautiful.
much light and space to hear, heal, and love each other. And it wouldn't have happened, I don't think, if I had not been through my journey. So after college, my chiropractor, my period came around. Things came to the surface because I had a lot of spiritual conversations with him. Along the way, I actually found a spiritual advisor and good friend. Um, so I continued to heal myself during this time when I found my spiritual advisor. I was still healing with my family. And I started sessions with her. And
Mhm.
oh my God, it has been life changing.
Yeah. It's
So
beautiful though.
absolutely beautiful. So a lot of it was talking about my history first, my medical journey,
Mhm.
and healing through that, what I was going through with my family, healing myself. The focus was very
Mhm.
internal now because I think I had done so much to help myself physically that it shifted. So at this point, I'm going to the gym, I'm strong. I've actually realized that food plays a huge role in the body, and it wasn't something I understood very literally. It was something I noticed within my body because that's something a part of this
Mm.
journey. You are so in tune with your body. I
Yeah.
was living with my grandparents for 3 years after I graduated from college, and I ate what they cooked. And at that point, I had not made that a priority for myself. I was like, I'm being fed. I don't have a job. For the first year, I didn't have a job. And then for the following years to come, jobs were, ups and downs. So I ate what I could. Then when I moved out, and I moved out on my own with my partner, I went forward very intentionally, and I was able to purchase that way. Food with integrity, not just like organic, like integrity. Chemicals were a big concern, and I started eating that way. And it wasn't because I thought, oh, now I'm going to heal my body. It was because that's, what I felt I wanted to give my body. I felt the shift. I used to have stomach issues. I used to like eat and be like, like my stomach hurts. I used to constantly be in the restroom with pains. And after I moved in with my partner, after 3 months, I was like, hold up. I have not experienced any pains. I said, have you noticed that? I looked over at my partner. He was like, yeah, I noticed it, but I wasn't going to say anything. And I was like, oh my God, I think it's the food. And
Yeah.
so I've done all that work, and now it's a very internal process. Like, it's one thing to like work with others and heal those relationships, but to heal that relationship with yourself.
Mhm.
Oh my God, you just go so deep. I got in touch with my younger versions of myself, the ones who had not completely healed from her childhood, the ones who seeked love, validation, and appreciation, realizing how she was still showing up in my life and
Mm.
calling those things, requesting those things from others, like my partner, when it's within me to give that to myself. Then healing from my teenager self, the one who dreamt of what a relationship would be, what her future would be, and then coming to terms with reality and understanding that that's beautiful that I could dream. That's beautiful that she gave me those dreams. But where am I now? Who is this
Mm-hmm.
woman now? And what does she want? And what has she learned on her journey? So the healing has within myself has poured over because my cup is so full. I feel so abundant in my own self love that it just pours
Yeah.
over into all my relationships. So I've been a pillar for my family, a pillar for my mom, a pillar for my sisters, and a connecting point. A soft place to land, I think, for my father and sharing his frustrations growing up and raising us in how the world he felt was against him
Mm.
and the love that he wanted to give to us didn't look that way. And then sitting there with that hurt, he's so hurt that he was not able to do those things for us. And I can see it now because I feel that I am above that now, that I've done that work, I've done that healing and realizing like that was your journey. Like
Yeah.
that was the life you were given. Oh, that's so cool. That
But what
that's your
I
podcast title.
the life we're given, yeah. Yeah. Because it's so
Whoa.
true. I feel like when, for us that have battled chronic illnesses, we're open to this world where it's like you deal with hearing negative information almost every day. It becomes
Every
normal.
day becomes normal.
And so, what it sounds like for you is it helped you with even the personal side of your journey outside
Oh
of
yeah.
your health. It was like, oh no, I've dealt with that. No, as a family, I'm going to bring us all together and we're going to
Yeah,
deal with all this
absolutely. It's a mindset.
spiritually with your
Yeah,
partner.
spiritually.
Like you were so used to it, it was kind of ingrained in you.
Yeah,
And like you said, you were used as the pillar in your family in order to
yeah,
help heal those areas. That's
yeah.
so beautiful.
It is so beautiful. It makes me emotional, actually.
Yes,
It's
like I could cry. It's so
yeah,
beautiful to hear too.
it is absolutely beautiful. And like you said, it's ingrained in you. Like,
Yeah.
my God, like I was a different person after. And
Hmm.
every day I'm a different person. And but it's so intentional. Like the healing that I do, how I'm showing up to the people around me, how I'm showing up for
Yeah.
myself. It's
Yeah.
just become my way of life.
It
Um,
matures you too
it
very
matures.
quickly in
Oh
life.
my gosh, absolutely. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's hard to connect because of that.
It
Because
is. It
yes,
is.
people have not been there, so
Yeah.
they don't understand the mindset. What they see is like, you're so positive. You're
Yeah.
so nice. And I'm like, yes, thank you, but it's just deeper than that. It's
Yeah,
not,
it's very deep.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's not just that I'm positive. It's like, I, positivity saved my life. Like,
Mhm.
my faith in changing the way I saw my circumstances around me changed my
Mhm.
life. So, this is who I am. It's in my core, ingrained in me.
Mhm.
And I think when people see it, it's just like, she's so happy. Like, why? Like, why are
Yeah.
you so happy? And I'm like, because I've been there. I've
Yeah.
I've faced death and you make a decision. Like
You
I
do.
had the opportunity to make that decision. I do feel in many ways I did die. Like versions of myself have died. And
Yeah.
there has been so many rebirths since then. So it is hard to connect, I think, to people who have not been through a journey that has put them there to connect in that way. And sometimes I guess it can be a little isolating. Um,
Mhm.
I mean, I do very well on my own. And um, yeah, I feel so independent. But it can be a little bit isolating in the sense of not being able to connect that way. And I find myself wanting to have conversations that are very deep or that like talk about the meaning of life or like healing and journey and like
Yeah.
just like emotions, all those things. And finding that my peers, like it goes over their head. They're like,
Yeah.
what's this girl talking about? And I'm like, I'm talking about life. So it can be a little bit lonely that way. And even in my partnership, like the strength that I carry, the knowing, the wisdom that I carry, the connectedness that I am with my body, the intuition, even bringing that to him being a very emotionally intelligent man, a very open hearted man, I feel the disconnect there. I have really like like forged a way in our relationship and almost not given him a choice to
Yeah.
get on this path. I'm like, you're either on this path or you're not.
Yeah.
And that has been a bit challenging, especially now that I feel I'm stepping more into my worth and into my truth as a person, as a woman, that I don't know. There's just nothing but authenticity here. And that can be a little bit challenging for somebody who has not had to go on a journey and choose that for themselves, but instead they're
Mhm.
being faced with it. And the truth is here because I live in truth. And I mean, there's
Yeah.
just no looking away from it. So that part of that has been also challenging as well, I
Yeah.
think.
Going
Yeah.
back to your cataract and your eye
Yeah.
surgery, it made me think back to my journey, and I wonder if this is similar. So for me, like after getting better,
Yeah.
subconsciously I found myself not wanting to go to the doctor. If I can avoid it for a minute, I want to avoid it. And one
Yes.
day it clicked with me and I had to be like, I kind of have a little bit of a fear
Oh my
of
God, I do
having to
too.
go back to the doctor for anything else. It didn't even have to
Oh
be
my
about my
God, me
health.
too.
Do
Oh
you
my
have that
God.
kind of same like little
I
inkling?
do. Oh, this is
Yeah.
so nice. I feel like
Yeah.
we can relate because
Mhm.
everybody around me is like, go to the doctor, go to the doctor. And I'm like,
No, when you were telling your story, I
right.
was like, I feel like we're the same in that way.
Yes. And I'm like, yes, like I understand it. Maybe I need to go see a doctor. Like my family's like, when's the last time you've been to the gynecologist? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't care. Like,
Yeah.
leave me alone. What are they going to do for me now? Like, I
Yeah.
don't know where that came from because right after the journey, I was so receptive and so like, thank you so much. Like, my doctors healed me. And I still think that there
Mhm.
has just been this disconnect from it. There I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't want to. I don't need that. And maybe that's just a part of me figuring it out, getting my strength back, seeing, what I can do for myself first, and then creating space for that, even within myself, creating space to go back to a doctor and
Yeah.
appreciate them in a different way, appreciating them for helping me in a way that maybe is outside of my own hands.
Yeah.
And yeah, that has been such a journey.
It took
So
me a minute, like, even my OBGYN, I think I missed, like, 3 years, and when I saw him, he was like, "Brandy, like, where have you been?" I was like,
yeah,
"Okay, I cannot do this again." Get so close to your doctors. He knows
yeah.
my journey. He helped freeze my eggs. He helped me with the
Oh, that's
entire thing.
beautiful.
He was like, You need to be here yearly."
Yeah,
That and some other things was when I was like, okay, I can't do this anymore. I've got
right.
to force myself back into a normal
Yes.
doctor routine.
My
But
God.
it does take a minute. It really
Yeah,
does take a minute to get there. Yeah.
absolutely. I think I'm there with like the normal doctor routine.
Yeah.
I just recently have been consistent with going to the dentist, and that has been
That's good. Yeah.
so big for me. Yeah, I'm like, oh, because they're a doctor, and
Uh-huh.
also just like the experience of like, we got to do this work. Like,
Yeah.
oh, nobody wants that. So
No.
that is, and also with the gynecologist, like, so I had went back because I was open. I was like, yeah, I've had my eggs frozen. I want to have children one day. I wasn't having periods, and so I was like, let me go. And so I went. And I just did not feel like I was heard or seen for my journey. She was
Mm.
like, yeah, 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 that's okay. We can help you. We're going to put you on some birth control. I just felt like not taken care of. And that I
Yeah.
was like, tried it, not doing it again. And since then, I have not been back to the gynecologist, but I also have not been there in my mind space with my mindset now. So I think I am open to going to the gynecologist, but I need to make the time to go and research and find a doctor that fits me, that takes care of me.
Mhm.
But interesting with that, I was so determined. I was like, not going to the gynecologist because I don't want to be on birth control. My periods will come back naturally. I didn't take the birth control. A month later, my period came back for the first time ever. Yes,
Wow.
and that is something that I think I've noticed on my journey. I am so connected to my body in more than just a physical way. Like, I think mentally, my soul, spiritually, I am so connected to my body. And I think it is so powerful. And I experienced this on my journey, the power of spirituality. My journey in the hospital was so
Mhm.
spiritual, so
Yeah.
spiritual. Like, oh my God, it was so spiritual. And coming out of it, I feel like disconnected a bit from that, not realizing that every part of this journey is spiritual because we are spiritual beings in my
Mhm.
my opinion, we are. So,
Same.
yeah, okay. So
Yeah.
we're connected here, right? What I believe and what I think rules my body. So
Mhm.
I don't think I was creating a safe space for my body to think that it could heal in that way. But when I thought, no, my body will do this, it came back a month later. And so since then, my period has come back every year. It has not been consistent. It's come back for the most part once a year, but lately we've been
That's good
going
though.
down to two times a year, 3 times a year, and
Okay.
I was told that it will probably never come back. I went through something so like tower falling in my life, like just crashing within my own relationship. And it really made me look at who I was deeper as a person, a woman, and tapping into my femininity, to my
Yeah.
power, to my intuition. And I literally felt like I was glowing, like walking this earth, because of how in touch I had felt with my feminine power that I had never felt before. It was just intuitive. It was in my body. And I had got a thought in my mind. I said, I bet my period is coming. And at the end of this first week of reckoning, like I was just sobbing, releasing everything, like, oh my God, it was like world shattering to me. My period came back, and I knew it. I freaking knew she was coming. I knew it. And I had read somewhere about, like, spiritually, how we are connected to our periods. And there's something called a wounded feminine. And I looked into what's a wounded
Hmm.
feminine. My whole life I had felt the way that it had described, like feeling powerless, feeling like not comfortable in my own skin, feeling like I judged myself, had to cover myself up, and it goes back a lot to my upbringing in my childhood. This way of framing women, like, and not in a good light, and I
Hmm.
think I carried that with me, not realizing it. But this moment made me take back all my power, and I realized, God, I was wounded, and now I get the chance to take it all back. I
Yeah.
did. And I think it's because I created the safe space for my period
Yeah.
to come. It's the most womanly thing out there to experience that. We
Yeah.
only experience that. And my body didn't feel safe in her own femininity to have that. And so, of course, that's going to, I think, challenge it to come. So every time I have these like big emotional releases, my period follows. And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, yeah, I understand. I'm still on a journey of healing that. So that's been a part of it. And I do believe one day I will regularly have my period. And I just think that right now there's so much work that I'm still doing, like healing. And I think it's a life journey.
Our lives are different, but in anybody's life, like it really takes a lot to whatever you've gone through, get through that. But like you said, see like that there's more healing
Yeah.
to do, even outside of whatever it is you've been through. There's just so much out there.
There's so
And it's
much. You're
so
right. Yeah.
beautiful. Like your story is amazing.
Thank you.
Even just outside of health, just everywhere else, you've just kind of been able to open your eyes to seeing, okay, this area needs to be healed. Okay, now let's work here, and
Yes.
really do the work. I think
Yeah.
that's one thing that I don't think everybody does or gives
We
people
don't.
pause or fear is actually doing
Yeah.
the work.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you've
Absolutely.
been able to do that.
Yeah, I feel that I some ways felt like a villain because of that, because not
Yeah.
everybody's ready for the truth. Not everybody is, they're scared. They're not ready to heal, but my presence is that. I
Yeah.
am that. That has been my journey. Like, and not by choice. Like, I was made to face this thing, and chose it, either I chose to fear it, which I can still do scary things courageously. And now I carry that with me. And so
Hmm.
I often think, like, if you're in my life and I'm in your presence, it's for a reason. I do not carry
Yeah.
myself in a way that's timid to heal things, and I share the truth. I'm authentic. I have boundaries. I'm unwilling to be a victim in my circumstance, and I think that that scares people and it makes them resistant to me, and the only way they know how to tell me is that, well, I don't want to hear it. You're mean. And my delivery, I mean, maybe it could be softer. I just don't think I'm that person. I think
Yeah.
if you want a soft delivery, you can find somebody else, but mine is going to be clear, cutting, and the truth, it may hurt you, but not because I've been mean with it, but because it has been so raw and it has been so direct that you have no choice but to face it. And I think that it has, in some ways, painted me as a villain, and in another way, isolated me too. My
Yeah.
sister, she sees me for what I am, and she says, Brie, I just feel so bad sometimes. Like, you are so misunderstood and nobody sees you. You were always been so misunderstood. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, I think, that's just a part of this role and the the crown that I wear. It just is, and I think I find purpose in it, so I'm able to carry that close with me and be like, I mean, you know, you may not like this, but I love you so much that I am unwilling to be inauthentic with you that way.
Yeah. I think with my journey of health, I'm like, I don't have time to waste. Like, I feel
Yes.
like that's where my mind comes from when I say things and look like, hey, let's just go ahead and work on this because we don't know how much time we're going to have here on earth, and let's have
Yeah.
a good time together. I don't like the way you have done this or, approach this. This is how I feel about it. Let's change it, but let's move on. Like, no love loss. But I feel
Yeah.
like for me, subconsciously, I come from a point of, I just feel like we don't have time. Is that where you
Absolutely.
come from? Or like, how do you think about it?
I think it is a part of that. Like, often I'll think like, this is not worth my time. I'm like, it's
Yeah.
not worth my time. Like, we're gonna have this relationship, and you're just gonna have to look at the truth because we're not dealing with this. I'm not.
Yeah.
And if we're gonna continue, then you're either going to work on this because this is what needs to be worked on, or you're not. And I have
Yeah.
had conversations like that with people. Like, you can either be here or not, but I'm not going to be here if this is what's happening and we're just not facing it. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's fine with me. And my time is so precious. Everybody's time is so precious, but I definitely have like this deep understanding of how precious time is.
Yeah.
And like, I just want to live my life so free. And how can I, if I'm letting these chains weigh me down? Like, I am not walking
Yeah.
that way. I was given a second chance not to be chained, you know?
And then jumping into positive mindset, I know that was one thing we
Yeah.
really wanted to touch on. Tell me a little bit about how that looks for you and how that
Yeah.
shift happened for you to know that that was something that you were passionate about.
Yeah, that is such a good question. Um, so it started when, at the very beginning of my journey, I had a boyfriend in high school when this all happened. I had to stay home from school, and school was still going on. I'd call him every day, and all I would do is like nag. Like, I had to do this, and this is happening, and that is happening. So much to the point that I think it started to weigh on him, and he just couldn't hear me talk anymore. So one day, he was like, Hey, you're really negative. Like, I'm going to need you to start looking for 5 positive things in your day every day. And when we get on the phone, you're going to tell me those 5 positive things first. And I'm so extrinsically motivated. Like, my dad growing up, he was like, I'll buy you a brat doll for every A you get, and I'll buy you a book for every A you bring home. And I was like, done. I was a straight A student, so extrinsically motivated. So he said this, and I was like, bet. So I looked for my positive moments every single day. And it was exciting to me. And I would present him, and he'd be like, that's great. And then it became a habit. And there's so many books
Oh,
out there that are like, that describe like positivity is like a habit, like you teach the brain. I didn't realize I was doing it at that time. So I
yeah.
started to cultivate it there, right? I carried that with me into my medical journey when I got into the hospital. So much to the point that I had to like lay a boundary down to protect my own positivity, to protect my peace.
Yeah.
That if you did not have positivity, if you had negativity, you had to get out my room. And I had a sign on my door. It was like, if you're feeling low or negative, don't even enter. Like,
Yeah.
only positive allowed here. And it was more than just like surface level positivity, toxic positivity. It was like protecting my energy. I
Hmm.
am in a fragile place right now. This space cannot take that right now. We're not strong enough yet. Like, only bring light, because what are you doing bringing negativity here? Like, get out. So I really was firm with those boundaries. Even my mom, when she would be crying about my journey and just like hopeless, I was like, get out. I was like,
Yeah.
look, you can cry and you can be sad and like be processing this, but you have to get out of my room, because
Yeah.
you're living in a reality where I don't make it.
Yeah.
That's not my
Right.
reality. I would feel it. I was telling you, I was so spiritual. Um, she would be turned around. You couldn't hear her. It was inaudible tears. And I'd just be in my bed, like doing things, and I'd sense it. And I'd be like, what is going on? Like, I'd sense like this emotion of like heavy sadness. And I'd say, Mommy. And she'd be like, yeah. I'd be, turn around. And she just had tears. And I was like, what are you doing? I was like, why are you crying? She's like, I'm sorry, my baby. I'm like, stop crying. You don't need to cry. But if you do, like, go. So that was a big part of that. Then I came across somebody in the hospital floor with me. He was a friend who was going through aplastic anemia as well, and his name was Michael Smith, and he was the only one of my age group, because I was treated by a children's hospital. He was like 20 and I was like 18, so we connected that way. Well, he had this mindset, very spiritual, faithful mindset of him having stupid faith, stupid, crazy faith. And he
I like
said,
that.
yeah, that it was just so strong in faith that people thought it was stupid and crazy.
Yeah.
So he called it stupid, crazy faith. And he shared that with me. And he was like, yeah, we have stupid, crazy faith. And I was like, we have stupid, crazy faith. And it was just this thing that I carried with me, teamed up with the positivity that I had been cultivating. And I carried that so strongly with me that getting outside of it, it was my way of life. It was what got
Hmm.
me through. It's what gets me through today. And it's not something that I even think about. I'm not like, what's the positive in this? It's just who I am now. And I got positivity in my college ring, actually. You can't see it,
Oh.
there's no way, but it's engraved in there.
Oh, I kind of
Positivity,
see it.
kind of see
Oh,
it.
that's so cute.
Yeah. And it's just like, it's just been something that you don't you don't lose it, because once you like train your brain this way, it's like, why would you go negative? And I can go negative, I can go low, but that's a moment, that's a period, maybe.
Yeah.
It's not something that is in my system.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I love that, like, your boyfriend, when you were, what, 18, is the one that kind of like
Yes.
planted the seed and then
Yes,
it
that
just
is so crazy.
grew. Isn't that
It is so
crazy?
crazy.
You think
It's so
about that.
crazy. And it shows me that everybody's in your life for a reason, because we're not together.
Yes.
And we didn't
Yeah.
end our relationship in a very nice way. Now we're amicable. We've closed that chapter in a good way. But like, he was the one who did that, and he was in
Yeah.
my path during that time. And to this day, he is a part of my story. Every time that I bring up my story, I mention
Yeah.
him. I'm like, because that positivity has been life changing. So my boyfriend at the time, he brought this up to me. It's
Wow.
just
That's
beautiful.
so
It's beautiful.
funny.
Yeah, it is. It's so funny. Yeah.
I do want to close out on, giving anybody any words of wisdom that, maybe is 100 days post transplant.
Yeah.
What tips, or, what would you tell somebody that's 100 days post transplant? Like, where do they start?
Oh man, where do they start? This is great. I think 100 days post transplant for me, there was a lot to live for.
Mm,
So I think hang on to that, because man, that's literally it. It's like there's so much to live for. And if you see it that way, then nobody can stop you. Nobody can challenge you, because you know that you are living for something.
yeah.
And you're still there for a freaking reason. Like,
Yeah.
gosh, like you have that life. It was not taken. And even if it looks down, like there's still so much to live for, even in that day, even in that
Hmm.
moment. Like, every moment is, and for me, every moment is an opportunity to create magic. So you don't know, and there's no point. and living your life like if there was not any hope.
Yeah.
I My dad thinks it's so cringy and cliche, and he does not like it, the term YOLO. But like I say that all the time because it's not like to justify something stupid and reckless. It's to say that I will never have a chance to live again, and who knows if I will have tomorrow. So YOLO, you
Hmm.
only live once, and at that time, the 100-day mark, like there's just so much life to live for you still. So
Oh, I
and
love
carry that.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hang on to that. Oh, that's
Yeah.
so beautiful. Thank you
Yeah.
so
Thank
much,
you.
Brianna, for being on
You're
this podcast. I think
welcome.
this is going to be a really cool episode. And just
Thank
something
you,
that's not
Randy.
talked about a lot is post
No.
transplant life. What does that look like years out? And you have
Yeah.
such a beautiful story. So I'm so glad we were able to tell it.
Thank you, Randy. I'm so glad that you thought of me. It's
Yes,
truly an opportunity
absolutely.
and such a unique one because you understand the journey. So
Yes.
this is beautiful. Thank
Yeah,
you.
it is beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome.